Hello everyone, this is Charlotte and this is a podcast called Chatting in Cars. This is where I talk about random things. I've got quite a few ones going at the moment. There is a disclaimer at the start of this podcast because I do talk about sensitive topics. If you don't want to hear about sensitive topics, you don't need to. You can stop right now. And it may start on one topic and actually move over to another one. So I can't guarantee that I'll stay in one mindset while I'm on this trip with you. So be wary of that. I do swear a lot and unapologetically because I enjoy swearing, basically. I find it's very expressive. So if you don't like any of that, I suggest you stop now and actually find something that you might like. Other than that, let's carry on. I've got about a 30-minute drive, so I'm going to be... It's quite a short one today. The topic is hope. Hope. Not just the name. It's good to have hope, I think, obviously. Although it can be, horrible as well, I expect. If you look at it critically, it can go both ways, really. It's a bit of a grey area if you go that way. In the positive, it actually gives you something to work towards. It can build you up. It can make you feel better about anything you have to do, hoping that something will go right. On the other hand, if you've got severe social general anxiety like me, hope can be horrible. But I don't know, getting your hopes up can be really tragic, and then having them crushed can be terrible. Sorry, my stutter's kicking in already. It's Thursday and you can tell I'm already tired, so. But generally, think about it in Pandora's box kind of terms. Hope is a good thing. Because of all the horrible things that came out of the box, war, famine, and all this kind of shit, hope was still there at the end to try and get people through. If you're talking about mythology kind of way. And a lot of things I've gone through as well is like hope sort of carries you through, really. There's a lot of things that you're going to have to face in your life as an adult that are quite horrible. Sometimes there is like 0 to none chance of winning or getting through or just, trying to keep things going. So it's hope that sort of pushes you up. It's that naive self-belief that something right could happen, I guess. I don't know. It's a good thing to have, I think. I think you should always be optimist. I was born an optimist, so I'm going to keep going with that. I was also made into a realist. Wow, this one is tilting up my ass. Anyway. But, be optimistic. Things could go right. I'm an overthinker, so of course I've already plotted how many ways it could go wrong. It's hope that keeps me going. It makes me want to do anything to do, I'm hoping it will go right. I'm assuming it will go wrong, and I'm pleasantly surprised when it does go right. So that could come from anything. That could come from trauma. That could come from OCD. That could come, there's a myriad of things that could come from. I plan to fail, so I guess I planned for the worst. That way I know I've covered all my bases and I can just deal with whatever comes. Worst case scenarios. It's weird though, I think it's PTSD related. This woman's gonna get up my arse. Sorry, I've got one woman who's, trying to get in me, essentially. Weird. It's 7:24 in the morning because we all need to be that rage-filled. I think she's late for something. Anyway. What keeps us going? Hope. Okay. So obviously people have gone through some horrible experiences. I've had some fucked up experiences, but nothing as bad as some of the other stories I've heard. People going through war zones and all kinds of mass murder, kind of genocide-y things. I look out for these things because, I'm weird and I like to know what's coming. I doubt we're going to have mass genocide in where I live at this point. But, I look for it's weird, isn't it? A bit morbid though, because you look for the worst to plan for the best, or something like that. It's like I don't assume we're always going to constantly have the worst, but I like to be prepared. Considering, growing up I didn't have much room for failure because my parents were not into me failing. It's like, we're not going to let you do that. And there was no safe space to fail. I sort of over prepare now. So I overthink and I over prepare, and even going on a holiday, I always pack like a month in advance. I'm putting stuff aside. I start putting stuff aside in case I need it on the trip. And then by the time it gets to like a week before, I unload and then I do a major pack, and it's over compensating. Obviously, my brother is the opposite. Last trip he went to Germany. He packed like an hour before. I lost my mind. I'm going, how are you packing your bag an hour before we need to be at the airport? It's insane. I don't know how he does it. I'd lose my mind. I'm prepping in advance. Yeah, but I got that trauma response thing going on where I need to know that I have everything to hand. I mean, if you sort your kit, you look after your kit will look after you. That's what I've been told. That's what I've been trained to do. You don't just, sort of hope for the best if you want to pull hope into it. My brother is a bit weird that way. He's like, you'll be all right. Just whatever you need, we'll just get over there. It's like, oh, will we? So, of course, then you got like the other way where people can be hopeless and they just sort of live in a morbid depression sort of thing, which is a bit sad, really. I've never really been hopeless. Most of my endeavours have been, if something's gone tits up, most of my endeavours have been fueled by anger. I don't particularly give up easily. Not because I'm an arrogant shit. I sound arrogant, don't I? But, because it's just, I'm too angry to stop. I've got that thing where if someone pisses me off, I'm going to go, right, you fucker, I'm going to piss you off more. It's a little bit petty. I don't mind doing that. But, channeled in the right way, it can be very productive. Alright, so I know I keep going back to these same maybe 2 or 3 examples, but when I got divorced, I was angry that he did what he did. Obviously, if you've listened to the other podcasts, you know what happened. Sorry, that was my radio turning on for no reason. But I think honestly, what would have been ideal for him is if I'd collapsed. Because, then he won. And that's what my brain says. And it said, well, fuck that, I'm not going to let him win. So what did I do? I started going to the gym. I started, getting my shit together. I got myself out of debt. I went on holiday and shit. It's like, I did not fall apart. And I didn't fall apart because I was too angry to fall apart. Because if I did fall apart, he would win. And I'm like, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction, mate. So it's like, why would I help him now? He's completely dropped me in it, tits up and everything. So that was my version of hope, was, anger, fuel. It's just like, why I have no problem with people who are angry. I'm going, I don't mind you being angry, as long as you can use it appropriately. You go for it, mate. Just don't do it in a destructive way where you're taking it out on other people and it's horrible. Bitterness. I don't like bitterness. I get a bit annoyed when people, betray me and break my heart and stuff like that sort of thing. I admit I do get a bit petty like that, especially when I see them fail. But I think that's most people. You're like, if someone's done something nasty to you and then they finally get their comeuppance, you're like, yeah, fuck you. Because I was nice and you were not nice and that was mean and I don't get it. But anyway, yeah. But, you gotta have... hope drives people to succeed. It drives people to start new ventures. It's what keeps us moving in life. We're hoping that things will turn out for the best, even if, it's a complete... Ooh, that was a big pothole. Even if it's a complete, clusterfuck of what could potentially happen. It's what keeps us going. I don't believe that there is any kind of real negativity to having hope, because even if it doesn't go right, if it doesn't go to plan, since when do plans ever fucking work, really? Not to a T. But if it does go wrong, you still got a lesson, you can still prep for the next session and work it out for the next time round. It's always a learning session. If you got it wrong, that's okay, it's all right to fail. Something I had to let myself learn as an adult is okay to fail and to just detach from it. It's fine to detach. Because if you let it drag on you, you're going to not want to try again, are you? You're not going to adapt to the circumstances. You're not going to be able to deal with it. Some people just fail once. They've got no resilience and they just lose their shit. And they don't want to get back on the horse. You've got to get the fuck back on the horse. Everything keeps going. Everything goes on. Don't fucking give up, sort of thing. It's really weird to see people just shrivel. And who likes shriveling things, really? That's rude. I'll keep going later. But, don't do that. It also lends itself into the victimhood mentality. The amount of shit I've had done to me, and I don't mean things I've actively gone out and looked for to participate in that I knew were going to end up fucked up. But shit that just weirdly happened, as far as I can see. I don't do the victim thing. I can't stand it. I really can't. Some people play on it. Some people love playing the victim so that they can get, like attention or free stuff or having an ego stroke. Some people are addicted to the morbidity of the victim mentality. Everybody's picking on me. Oh, it's poor me. Fuck off, mate. Get up. There's no point to it. It doesn't go anywhere. You sit there wallowing in a little puddle of self-pity and it doesn't fucking do anything. You don't fix the problem. You don't go anywhere. You stagnate. Oh, look, a rainbow. Sorry. Distracted by a rainbow. Oh, it's so pretty though. But, don't do that. It's stupid. I don't know. I think honestly though, most of my drive to keep going or to overtake things or to achieve things is still anger based. I'm lucky in that I can do that. Some people get angry and destroy themselves, and others, I get angry and I build empires. I was pissed off, so I built this. At the moment I've got like 3 stores going, online stores, and I work a full-time job. So I'm slowly building up my empire. I lost my house to my ex-husband, so now I'm I'm not building a house, but I'm buying a house myself just for me or anyone else who comes along, actually, tell the truth. But I have to filter those fuckers out these days. I can't just let anyone come. It's really weird. Because I want to, though, right? You want to look after people. But now I've got to start being, careful. Because the last one was it was a close shave, the last one. Yeah. A little bit of an opportunist, financially. So I dodged that bullet. But yeah, I was hoping for that relationship to work. I really was. Because, I thought I knew him. I thought I knew my ex-husband. I didn't. But it's hope that makes you want to participate, because if you don't hope for something, then you're not going to take risks, are you? And if you don't take risks, there's no chance of you actually winning. It might be a very small risk. It might be a very big risk. But if you don't bother taking the risk, there's no point. You're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to even try. It's like even when they say with the lotto, what is this? Lottery West, it's like you never win if you don't try, or something stupid like that. I'm sitting there going, the odds of you actually winning the lotto are pretty fucking slim, but some people just need that kick up the arse to give it a go. And I think honestly it does go to charity. I think at some point it goes to all Lottery West trust funds and things. I don't know. I hope so. Otherwise there's some really rich team of assholes back there with a shitload of people's money, which could happen, really. Let's be honest. It could be the government just sitting there collecting people's money from gambling. But it's a charity. No, it isn't. Is it? A little bit cynical about that stuff. Anything where people are collecting all vast sums of money, I am a bit cynical. Just in general. I don't. It's like when you look at the charity things on TV and they show you those starving kids in Africa and stuff like that. Unless I physically see whatever I send get to that person, I'm skeptical of it, because I'm like, I don't know if this is getting there at all. I don't know who's collecting this, what it's being used for. They say send money. I'm going, yeah, and what are you going to use it for? I'll send supplies. I don't mind sending supplies. I want to make sure that it gets there, though, because I just don't. I don't trust the system. I don't trust anything, but I don't. Which is why I heavily over-prepare things. Trust issues. There you go. It's only been 38 years. Hope gives us drive to keep going. What else can we talk about with Hope? It's a lovely name. I've known a lot of little old ladies with the name Hope. Anyway, so I'm hoping you guys have a good day today. I'm trying to think what else we can talk about with Hope. Pandora's box. Because that's the thing, is I don't want to keep touching on the same shit. Hoping for things. I like those people. I mean, I also give them shit for it, but I like those people that hope for people to come and rescue them. It became very clear to me in my early 20s that no one was fucking coming. The amount of weird shit that came, particularly mid to late 20s, it became very emphasized that double rainbow, sorry, that you have to, wipe your own ass. It's not a case of someone's coming to save us, someone's coming to bail us out of our student loans, or I like to keep that fantasy in my head that somewhere in the world there's a long-lost family that's loaded. That's mine, and they'll come and find me, I think we've all got that fantasy, really. It's like, turns out you are a trust fund baby. It's like, oh, fuck. Where were you for the last nearly 4 decades then? Fucking around. It's like, yeah, sounds right. On the Riviera, you bastards. You left me out there. But I look at that more of a joke these days. I'm still convinced my parents aren't my own, though. They're fucking nuts. I'm looking at them going, I don't even look like them. What the fuck? That's hope, isn't it? Do you give yourself false hope? Honestly, you need to be realistic when you start building up hope as well. The amount of, dreams I've created in my head over people, putting people on pedestals and things like that, hoping that they're going to turn out to be what I made them in my head is crazy. It's just crazy. I want to see the best in people. Most people do, I think you'll find. I can't remember which theorist said it, but they said people are inherently good. I'm trying to think now. It's been a while since I looked at that sociologically. But people generally are inherently good. It only takes some horrible experience to sort of change them, or even context and circumstance that makes them into these, horrible people. I mean, even if you're looking at extreme examples like Hitler, there's always that argument, was it structuralist or intentionalist? Did he do what he did because he was that kind of a person, it was nature? Or did he do it and carry it on because it was structuralist, which was, the organization around him sort of snowballing his one idea into several ideas, which sort of created a mass, huge fucking problem. I want to believe that people are inherently good. I mean, it's naive. Of course it's naive. I'm not stupid. I'm not looking at it like the world is all rainbows. You've got to have a certain level of healthy cynicism, because there is a chance that people will turn out to be not great. But generally, you want to keep an even keel with it. You don't just constantly look at everyone like they're evil. I know I've had 2 partners in a row now who have done pretty much the exact same thing. They're not monogamous. They're horrible. They're controlling, manipulative. The whole cliche spiel about what your partner shouldn't be. I've had them 2 in a row, but I know there's like 8 billion people in the world. So the odds of me getting 2 in a row is pretty weird. So I'm not thinking that all guys are like that. And to be honest, if I really wanted to test the waters, I'd go for girls this time, because, why not? I go both ways. But it was just a case of those 2 just happened to turn off one after the other. So I'm not thinking all guys are like that. Which, it has some element of hope in it, because I'm hoping the next one. I told myself while I was with my ex-boyfriend, he has all the hallmarks of all the male people in my life that were not good examples of men. Because, I could find parts of my dad in him, my ex-husband, my creepy granddad Bob. I could find all these traits in this one person, and I'm sitting there going, either now he is someone I'm supposed to be with and it's meant to work out, and all this big change is meant to happen and stuff like that, or he's going to be like the final boss before I find the real one. So it turns out I think he was the final boss, because none of it worked, and it was so completely fucked up. I don't know what, but it was familiar, because this is what I had grown up with. I had these horrible toxic elements of masculinity in my life, so this is all I knew. But at this point I started looking at it critically, and I started thinking, do I want to carry these on to my adulthood? I'm already in my adulthood, to be honest. Have been for about 20 years now. But now I have a choice. I'm not anchored down to this. I'm not obliged to it. There's no property between us. I don't have to stay. If I don't like this, I can just leave. And I'm self-made, so I don't have to stay for financial reasons. It's stuff like that. And, girls, I will say, as much as we love a man to come and rescue us financially and all that shit, don't let them, because you set yourself up for a fall. Because it could turn out that, like the last one I was with, that they're full of shit and they're wearing a mask, and as soon as that mask drops, they turn out to be not a nice person. Quite abusive sometimes. So don't, keep some semblance of independence. Don't rely heavily on other people. That's for everyone, really. I mean, we're all going to sit under our own grapevine. That's biblical. So you need to be able to wipe your own ass. But you know, we always hope for people to turn out for the best. And I think you should try to, because it gives them the chance or the space to actually do the right thing. As soon as you made up in your mind that this person is horrible and evil and you're not going to want anything to do with them, it kind of sets the tone for any kind of extra thing, because they might prove to themselves to be something nice or, you know, helpful or loving or something in the end. Because I know a lot of people, like there was a lot of people even in that social group that I just left, a bunch of 20-year-olds that want to get shit-faced and fuck each other. To sum up. And backstab and all this other shit. Yeah, anyway, there are podcasts on that I've done. But there were 1 or 2 or 3 in there that would put on the tough exterior, and these are the guys, obviously. The girls I didn't think much of. There was only maybe 1 or 2 girls that I liked, because they were nice and friendly. You could tell they were genuinely nice and friendly. The other ones were putting it on because it got them somewhere. I didn't like that. You can see two-facedness by nearly 40. You can tell when people are bullshitting you, I think. But there are a few guys there that are putting on this big, tough exterior, and they're all manly, and they're all doing the same shit because they're hanging out with other guys that are faking the same shit. It's like, how many of you are actually this? I mean, it was toxic masculinity, to be honest. It's the hard-coated armor, you know, to stand up against the other boys, because the other boys, if you see weakness of any kind, and clearly you're not masculine, which is bullshit, because it takes a strong man to actually show emotions in a world that's going to cut him down for it. That takes balls. That's what I find impressive. Because if you can turn around with a whole group, your own fucking group of friends telling you to shut the fuck up and stop crying and shit like that, if you can turn around to your group and tell them to fuck off because you have a right to feel emotions and things like that, then that takes balls and courage and things like that. And if they were really your friends, they wouldn't give a fuck, to be honest. It's toxic friends that will tell you what you have to be and how you have to act and things like that. So I wouldn't bother with those kinds of people. If they're going to, you know, cut you down into a position where you're not even comfortable being yourself. So what's the fucking point? If you can't relax around these people because you're constantly worried about how they're going to, you know, see you crying or upset or even, you know, like being giggly around a girl you like, it's insane. Who gives a fuck? If you feel what you feel, I mean, who gives them this shit? People trying to cut themselves down to size to fit in with a bunch of assholes that don't fucking mean anything anyway, aren't worth anything. I mean, that goes into the authenticity spiel as well, so I'm not going to go into that one. But yeah, be yourself, man. Fuck them. If they don't like it, fuck them off too. I mean, I spend most of my days on my own these days just because I'm sick of people's bullshit. Every social group I go to tends to be the pattern of you have to fit in, you have to look like us, act like us, talk like us. And I'm ASD, dude. I don't fit or talk or I don't do anything like that. I'm off in my own head most of the days, bopping along on treadmills, high as fuck on caffeine and pre-workout. You know, I'm just happy being there. Whereas, you know, even in the gym environment, you've got a bunch of people that are doing the tough thing and they're looking down and everything's so strenuous and manly. And I'm sitting there bopping along with pigtails and pink ballet tights going, wee! You know, I'm having a blast, man. High as fuck. I got my Mariah Carey on my earphones. I go, wee! Oh my God. People take themselves so seriously. I just don't understand it, man. It's weird. And you don't want to be seen to not belong or not to fit in as well. But I've never fit in, so I don't give a fuck. I tried to fit in my my mid-20s. Mid-20s, I'd say I tried to fit in. By, you know, mid-20s, I was already heading towards getting married to my ex-husband, so he already knew I was nuts. So he knew by then. We'd been together since 17. But I lost all my friends with him as well because he didn't like my friends, and I lost my family as well because he didn't like my family. He really didn't like my mom. He didn't like it when I came back from hanging out with my parents because he was like, oh, you just sound like your mom, sort of thing. So he isolated me from people in general. And whilst I've got that social anxiety where I have trouble interacting with people, I flourished in isolation because I could just relax and be myself, and I didn't have to worry about who was seeing my weird quirks which turned out to be autism, or giving me shit for the way I dress. I mean, what I found was a complete fish out of water scenario when I went to that social group. I had spent God knows how long just looking the way I look and doing what I wanted to do and not having to try and impress people, fit in or anything like that. And then I went to this group and I tried to make friends, and they gave me shit for looking a weird way or being too nice. They gave me shit for being too nice. I don't understand that. How can you give someone shit for being too nice? That's weird. It was a weird group. It was a very catty, angry group. That was the girls. The guys were nice. Bubbly. Some of the things they were doing I didn't agree with, like sleeping around and stuff like that. I just don't. But again, you had guys in that group who were putting on the tough guy facade thing, and you can see right through it, because it's like, dude, I'm going to tell you right now, from this age and this standpoint, I know that most of us are still kids on the inside. We're just acting. This whole adulting thing is acting. It's not real. As soon as you get alone, you're going to talk to yourself, you're going to dance in the shower, you're going to eat as much fucking junk food as you can, and be face down in, I don't know, a sandpit or something. As soon as you get the chance to. Everyone wants to get covered in dirt and do weird climbing tree shit. I can guarantee you that. It's the only thing that's stopping us doing it. First of all, maybe your joint pain. If you're anything like me, my hips are fucked still. Sleeping on the floor did not do well with me. Or trying to assume that it's irresponsible to do that, you know, because you want to fit in with the other grown-ups who are also fucking faking it. It's very weird. I mean, if you came from an abusive childhood like me, you'll give yourself a second childhood anyway. There's no problem with that, which is why we find more people of my age and maybe younger that are giving themselves more time to be a kid. Like they've got an extension of, you know, you got money now as an adult and you can just go and buy all the toys and things you didn't get as a kid, and do the things you want to do as a kid, and eat shit and just pretend that you don't have to be a grown-up. This is why we're seeing a wave of it. A lack of maturity, maybe, I don't know, or perceived maturity. Just because we're giving in to those, you know, impulsive thoughts about I need to eat a bucket of KFC or something. Not that I do eat chicken, but I've always wanted to actually eat a whole bucket of that stuff. I don't know why. It just seems like a size thing. But we're giving into those things we denied because we weren't allowed to, because now we're grown-ups. We have to be, you know, straight and serious, and we're giving into it. So it's the weirdest thing to go and into a social group and then expect everyone to be serious. I hate dinner parties for that exact reason. I fucking hate them. It's formalized, uncomfortable, forced maturity, or perceived maturity, because it's still pretentious as fuck. I hate that shit. Everybody getting together, we're all tired, it's at night. I don't think I've ever actually done it. I think I've done it once. But we're all tired, we're all drinking things that taste gross, talking about shit and no one's really interested, but we're feigning interest because apparently that's what you do. It's like, you're not actually with anyone you like, you're just there for social graces, you know. It's like, realistically, we just want to go home, sit on the couch, eat food, sleep, and fuck. I mean, nobody wants to actually interact with anyone past a certain age, because everyone past a certain age is done with the attention seeking. We're just fucking tired now. So, you know, anyone who's like 40 and still trying to do dinner parties, I question you severely. It's like, what is this for? Because we are all fucking tired. It's absurd. Go home, eat your massive box of cookies, cry, because that's all we want to do now. Yeah, it's absurd. Everybody's trying to pretend to be a grown-up. Anyway, how did we get here from hope? I don't know. Hope's a very small topic. I've not got much gauge on that, I guess. But, you know, well, I'm going to have to cut it there soon because I've pulled up to my work. But it could be used as a means to keep you going. Just be careful what you hope for. Ooh, manifesting. Yeah, we could talk about manifesting. Okay, no, that might be a different podcast. I'll write that down. I have to write that down in all this fun. I will forget. But, you know, hope sets you on a tangent for what you want to actually achieve as well. I am literally writing that down. Manifesting. Okay. With my lead pencil from the 50s. But it sets you up. You want to, you know, have an educated guess and drive towards, you know, goal setting, things like that. So hope sets you up to do that. You don't want to be hopeless, because if you give up now, you're just not going to achieve anything, are you? It could be a blessing. It could be an evil. I mean, the amount of people who've got set up with hopes and dreams and only to have them shatter because of something going wrong or someone getting involved and fucking up for them. I thought I'd be married right up until God knows how long. That was my hope, was to get through my wedding anniversaries and things like that. You know, like some form of normalcy. Well, now we know that normal is an illusion. I'm still angry about that, actually. I wanted to get to my golden wedding and anniversary and shit like that. I'm like, I love milestones like that. I'm weird. I like to plod along and achieve. But I know I'm never going to get there now because of some fuckwit I decided to marry didn't believe in marriage or monogamy. So yeah. So there's always some circumstance that can actually shatter your hope. But, you know, this is your chance also for reforming. If something goes wrong or doesn't turn out, things never really turn out the way you want them to. But if it doesn't turn out how you thought it would, you can regroup and get going and try again. I don't want you to give up, is the thing. Hope will stop you giving up, I hope. All right, I'm going to have to leave it there because the kids are staring at me now and I've got a very grumpy looking librarian staring right at me. Why are they so grumpy? Why are librarians grumpy? I hope you have a great Thursday, Thor's Day. If you're into Nordic paganism like me. Well, actually, it's my heritage, so I can hardly avoid it. Have a great one. I want you to relax. We've got one more days. We got Freya's Day tomorrow, and then the weekend, which is snacks and sleeping and everything we wanted to do in the first place, hopefully. Take it easy. And I will hopefully do a podcast on the way back. If not, then I'll have to wait till the next trip. Probably Saturday, because I'm going to go nick some movies off my brother with his hard drive. So, all right, have a good one, guys.